Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the crowd.
That's right, it is Sports Frenzy 2.0 taping here on March the 29th, 2023. He's a conquistador, Dave Heights.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And
there's new grass on the field. Hope springs eternal.
Put me in, coach.
The boys of summer are back.
Yes. As we tape here Wednesday night, this will hit Thursday morning, the 30th, which is opening day for Major League Baseball. Lots of changes, hopefully for the better.
Hopefully for the better. I love what I'm hearing on the pitch clock, shaving 26 minutes off the game per average. Thank God.
Now in spring training,
God.
I'll take that when it comes to spring training. We'll see how it works when it gets to regular season. Now, I have not heard a lot in terms of base stealing improvement with the bigger bases, with the limited throws over to first.
Yeah, that's been negligible on any report, but I don't think anybody's really that concerned at this point.
I think you're right, though. I think the pitch clock is the big improvement. If that translates even 15 to 20 minutes less on a regular season game, I think everybody will be ecstatic.
Yep. Yeah. Some of your most exciting games were the ones that came in between 2 and 2.5 hours.
And it doesn't have to be a pitcher's duel.
No, it doesn't.
5-4, 6-4 type of game.
You could still get it in under 2.5 hours.
Right.
It's just these guys moping around the mound and then also getting the damn batters in the box right away instead of the 45-minute Nomar Garcia-Parra hand job.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely agree. So hopefully that stuff is done. This is the one big fix that I think baseball needed. Everybody's excited about. There are some old fogies, even older than me, bitching and pissing and moaning, but I'm not.
No.
It shouldn't take that long
complain?
for either the batter or the pitcher to get set and go to the next pitch.
Yeah. The old adage, rock and fire. Get the ball and throw it.
Now,
it doesn't let your defense get complacent behind you. It keeps them on their toes and engaged in the game.
Now, of course, I saw some video from yesterday with the Yankees, with Nestor Cortez tried to quick pitch. And the umpire, no, you can't do. You didn't let the batter have enough time. So Cortez, nobody was on base, so he kind of just sat there and screwed around and did like a half-ass, turn, and it waited for the clock to wind all the way down to 1 before finally throwing the ball. So I think we're going to see some weird stuff here. Weird, wild, wacky stuff early on.
That's all right. Bring it. Make it interesting.
So, of course, Dave and I have got the panel's season predictions as well as our week 1 picks, but couple of headlines here to deal with. Not anything major. We did have one big injury outside of the World Baseball Classic, and that would be Philadelphia Phillies first baseman Rhys Hoskins tore his ACL on a very pedestrian play, backing up on a short pop-up, heading out to right field.
Yeah.
And just did that whole pull-up, oh, God, there it goes, I'm done for the year type of thing.
Yeah, you never know when something like that's going to let go.
Yep. So Philly's got a hole to fill. He is done for the 2023 season. Now in the WBC, this one didn't surprise me so much. The Cardinals, Adam Wainwright, Methuselah. Yep, going on 65 years old.
The 65, 55, 40-year-old man.
Who, by the way, I was glad to see in ads over the weekend. As they were talking, him and Adam Morrison, the legends of college basketball, who never did anything in the pros. Kind of good to see them in the AT&T ads.
Yeah.
But Adam Wainwright, again, I have said this, Cardinals are my nemesis as a Cubs fan, but you can't keep relying on Adam Wainwright every year to be your ace.
At some point, the arm is going to fall off.
In this case, the groin.
Yeah.
And let's hope that didn't fall off. But he will start the season on the injured list. He will be out several weeks.
Yep. And let's give it to Major League Baseball for the ads promoting the new rule changes. Those have been fun and entertaining.
I have not seen those. You've
got the one.
Remember, I got screwed by YouTube TV and they took the MLB network away, so I don't have that.
I've seen these even during the tourney. The NCAA tourney.
Oh, I did not know. I didn't see them. Wow.
Check them out. They're pretty good.
Now, I don't know about you with the White Sox. I got a little bit of good news with the Cubs here heading into the regular season. You know, I have been a proponent for Nico Horner. I love the guy. I think he is the best player on that team. So the Cubs do the whole Atlanta Braves thing to a lesser extent.
Yep, he got a nice little deal.
3 years, $35 million. That'll put him through 2026. They basically bought out the last 2 years of arbitration, first year of free agency. So they basically got him for 4 more years.
Yep.
And if he ends up playing as well as he should play, he will cash in the offseason at the end of 2026.
Yep, and this buys them time to get the younger guys developed and ready to come up.
And plus, the Cubs are doing a lot with the one-year deals. Cody Bellinger, Hosmer.
Yeah, you've got some decent young bats in the pipeline.
I was shocked, though. They sent Chris Morel down.
Because they weren't sure they were going to get him the at-bats, from what I heard.
Right. They want him to play full-time at AAA instead of maybe part-time on the major league level, which I'm sorry, I don't get. Where is he not able to fit in on a daily role with a DH on that team? I don't get it. Oh, because of Seiya Suzuki? He's going to be injured within the first 2 weeks.
And then they'll bring him up and he will be off to the races.
I do not like them putting Christopher Morel back in the minors. I do not like that. Now they sent Rowan Wick down too, so that means that it's going to be Boxberger or Fulmer as the closer. Fulmer, I could see him taking over the role. But again, it's a one-year deal, like you were saying. The money they're giving Horner might seem like a lot, but there's going to be a lot. It's like the Bears. There's going to be a lot of money dropping off the books after this coming season where these teams are still going to be able to spend, bring in more players, bring in more key parts to make the team better.
Because don't you still have one big payment to make to a bad signing for someone who's no longer there?
This year?
Yeah, this year is the final year.
Yeah, the final year of the albatross known as Jason Hayward. And I heard, believe it or not, again, you know, we've talked about this, how I listen to a lot of New York radio. They are targeting Gavin Sheets.
Really?
White Sox, Gavin Sheets. They're already talking about going after him. The Mets are.
Trying to pick him up to play first base?
Yeah.
He's got a hot bat.
But I hate to hear that because we already talked about...
He's a solid left-handed bat that the Sox are going to rely on.
The problem with this that I don't like is that we talked about Dylan Cease a couple weeks ago. And again, things that I've heard, rumors that I've heard. They're already acting like the White Sox are going to bail on the season. I don't get that.
They're not going to bail on the season.
The AL Central is weak.
It's winnable. If everybody comes to form. Now, there are going to be some guys who are developing this year, like Sheets' continued growth. Andrew Vaughn playing first base on a daily basis. He is why they didn't re-sign Abreu, because Vaughn was the Sox home run leader last year with under 20, but still and playing in a part-time role. So with Eloy Jimenez DHing, you have to find out what you got in Vaughn. And he's shown he can be a hell of a hitter. And first base is his natural position. Something had to give.
Yeah, you can tell how messed up, how much info I've got in my brain. I almost said Ben Sheets, going all the way back in the day to the top pick for the Brewers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the kind of mess the Maestro's head is.
Yeah, no, Gavin Sheets is a solid left-handed
But I don't like hearing
hitter.
that. I don't like the big market teams
thinking that they can poach.
Right, already talking about, well, they're going to trade Dylan Cease because they're not going to pay him. Oh, they'll trade Gavin Sheets.
Shut up.
Yeah, stop talking like that. This is, again, I'm getting pissed off with the New York media and the New York fans acting like they're entitled. You haven't won anything in over a decade, you pampered, entitled assholes. So last time I checked, the Blackhawks won 3 titles, the Cubs won 1, since New York has won any goddamn thing. So shut up! That being said,
shall we begin our preview?
Let's talk about who everybody's got as the NL and the AL champions this year. Our 8 panelists, experts in the field. They've all been with Sports Frenzy for at least half a decade or more.
At least.
Which I think qualifies them a lot more than most of the idiots on ESPN.
This is true. All right, let's run through our National League. You, me, Bill, and Doug and Jen, Mrs. C, are all going with the Braves.
Yep, 5 of 8. I think the Braves will win the National League.
Yep. The elder statesman Sam is going with the Dodgers. Nick's taking the Cardinals. And Aaron going with the Phillies. It's kind of an intriguing pick.
See, now, if I would think the Knicks pick. I don't see the Cardinals being able to get through the gauntlet of the NL. I think the NL is a lot harder to get through than the AL. You got that one team in the AL that I still think is tops. And then in the NL, you've got the Mets, Braves, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres. The Padres are a team that on paper
should be fantastic.
But we're waiting for them to prove it.
But can they do it? They have the manager now.
Right. Bob Melvin.
Bob Melvin is there. If he can't pull that team the top,
nobody can.
Then blow it up, because that collective group is beyond all hope.
Right. And there are egos there. You've got Manny Machado. Egos. You've got Tatis.
Tatis has an ego for no reason. He hasn't done shit.
Well, they gave him the money. Like he was a top echelon player.
And he hasn't proved it yet.
Right. That's the dangerous game you play here. Now, the Braves play it a little bit better. The Padres are doing it now. We've seen the Diamondbacks do it this offseason. You lock up these younger players for the long term. Tampa Bay's done it.
Yep. You give them 4 or 5 years at a slower amount. That locks them up so you don't have to worry. Gives them time to prove it.
And gives them financial security.
Yeah.
They're not 5 years, $100 million versus worrying about in 2 years having to give them $300 million.
Yeah.
So that's why none of us, I think, picked the Padres. Is, again, on paper, the Padres are probably top to bottom the best team.
Yeah, but injuries are a concern.
Attitudes, injuries, and they still have not proven it. The other teams have.
Yep.
Phillies overachieved last year. And their batting lineup, once they get Bryce Harper back, will be phenomenal. Now, of course, we talked about Hoskins. He's off the table.
Yep.
So that's a big
hole
hit now in their lineup.
All right. Take it away with the American.
All right. Like I mentioned, there is one clear-cut favorite at least to me and the Conquistador
Yep.
and Nick.
Nick also agrees. You're going to have to try and dethrone the Astros if you're going to do anything in the AL.
They will get Jose Altuve back, I would imagine, no later than the All-Star break. I don't think losing Justin Verlander hurts that rotation that much at all.
No.
It's next man up. I'm going to spoil my AL Cy Young pick. I'm already predicting Framber Valdez, who is now moving up into the ace slot for the Astros. He is my pick for AL Cy Young. He has looked fantastic the last year and a half. He will step in. He will take over, win 20 games for the Astros. I don't think they will have a problem. The Yankees, too much drama. The AL Central, too much uncertainty.
Yep. So speaking of the Yankees, Aaron is going with them as his AL pick. Mrs. C's taking the White Sox. And then we've got 3 Blue Jays picks from Sam, Bill, and Doug.
I fell into that trap last year. I will not do it again.
I agree.
I picked them to go to the World Series last year. They disappointed me. They have not gotten that much better this year. I don't know what to expect from that lineup. That lineup, again, like the Padres.
It looks good on paper, but performing and staying healthy is a question.
And they don't have that ace pitcher.
No.
They don't have that number one that scares everybody. Whether it be a Garrett Cole or a Verlander.
Somebody that can
or
step
a Dylan
up.
Cease, somebody who can step up and be that number one guy. I don't see that in Toronto, so
No.
I'm not falling into that trap again.
Nope. So, as we go, World Series picks. The Braves for you and me.
That's right, because the smartest, the most knowledgeable people, longest tenured Sports Frenzy panel members know what they're doing. Dave and I have the exact same Braves, Astros, Braves, NL, AL, World Series champion picks.
Yep, Sam goes Dodgers, Blue Jays with the Dodgers taking it. Bill and Doug both have Braves, Blue Jays with the Blue Jays winning. Mrs. C has Braves, White Sox with the White Sox coming out on top. That's a tall task. Nick, Cardinals, Astros with the Astros on top. And Aaron, Phillies, Yankees with the Phillies taking it.
Mrs. C always votes with her heart.
Yes,
she always does.
She does.
She always does. So God bless her. She's awesome. The Blue Jays again. I don't get the love for the Blue Jays.
I don't either.
The Dodgers seem like they're an easy pick because they win 100 games every year, but you and I have talked about the fact that they underachieve.
Because they do not have a manager with the killer instinct.
They
can
won
get them
one
over
World
the hump.
Series, if I'm not mistaken, in the pandemic-shortened season.
Yes.
Roberts is not a great manager, like you alluded to. And they are worse this year.
Yep.
They lost a lot of key pieces. The pitching staff is getting older. Clayton Kershaw, how much more has he got left? He can't be a number 2 that much longer.
No, he's going to have to be relegated to a 3 or a 4.
And again, I look for the Padres to step up here and finally start taking over that division.
Yeah, and you can never discount the Giants.
No, Mr. Coconut Oil, who came over from the Phillies, and got to admit the guy's a fantastic manager, Gabe Kapler. He's proven that he can manage.
Yeah.
With the Giants don't have a great team, but he is able to get the most out of them.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
They don't have the best team on paper, but they play as a team better than the others.
And we should justify our pick for the Braves. The Braves, again, are so smart in locking up their younger players. The trade that they made, picking the carcass of the Oakland A's with getting Murphy over for the catcher. Last year, they did it with Olsen for first base.
Yeah, they're smart about how they're putting this team together. They're not breaking the bank. They're a young, very talented team.
Yeah. And
the Braves are one of those plug-and-play organizations.
Right. And I'm sure at the onset last year, when the news broke that Freddie Freeman was going to the Dodgers, broke a lot of Atlanta Braves fans' hearts. But look how this has turned out for them. By not paying Freddie Freeman $30 million a year, they've been able to, like the Conquistador says, plug holes, 2 or 3 other holes with that money.
Yep.
And again,
very talented players.
I hate to rip on the A's because they're just we'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
But you pull in 2 of the best players left on the Oakland A's over the last 2 years, with Olsen at first, Murphy catcher, cheaper.
Yep.
Than you would normally pay for a position like that. And plus with the young players, Strider, Harris, they are. And I always forget, they've got Acuna. I always forget Acuna. He's the best young player out there, better than Tatis. Maybe better than even Rodriguez out in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I always forget him because I'm just so in awe of how the Braves are running that team right now.
Yep, that they still have their cornerstone piece.
Yep. I think the Braves are top to bottom, pitching, fielding, batting, stolen bases, whatever category you want to pick, they are great, if not good, on every level. So this is why Dave and I are the smartest of the 8.
Yep, there you go. All right. MVP time. The NL. 1, 2. Me, Sam, Jen, and Doug. All going with Juan Soto, expecting him to have that breakout year for the Padres and to prove the money is there.
Yeah, because this is his contract.
This is it.
This is where he makes his money, baby.
This is it. This is his $300 million contract season.
Yep. He was not that impressive when he came over.
No, he was not.
After the trade with Washington, so he needs to prove himself. I'm going with the guy that I was drooling over for the Cubs in the offseason. Now he's going to have to step up even more again with Hoskins out for the Phillies. That would be Trey Turner. This is a guy who can hit 300, hit 20 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 runs scored, 30 stolen bases.
Let's see if he can get there.
Can he put the team on his back?
Yep.
Bill's going with the slugger with the Mets, Pete Alonso. I have my reservations about the Mets. Again, I get bombarded with Mets love all the time.
Money.
I don't think that rotation will hold up.
No.
You got 2 40-year-olds at the front of it. You're going to tell me Scherzer and Verlander both are going to make it through an entire season?
I would not think so.
And if one of them breaks down, that team's done. You've already lost your closer for the year.
Yep, they're on borrowed time. All right, Nick is going with Mookie Betts. I think it's a bad bet.
Well, if somebody's going to carry the Dodgers, I think it's got to be Mookie, really. I mean, you got Freddie Freeman, so
We'll see if Mookie can rally himself to do it. I just don't know about his consistency at this point in his career.
Especially given the protection in the lineup he's got around him.
Yeah.
Has weakened considerably.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have Aaron with Nolan Arenado, which a couple of years ago would have been a good pick.
Yeah. Now, not so sure.
Yeah, I think you're going to start to see age taking its toll on Mr. Arenado. So.
Yep. All right.
Aaron's not off to a good start. We'll get to his picks in the college basketball tournament here later.
Yep. You were almost on an island of your own.
I have my reasons for this. Go ahead and tell everybody first. Go ahead and tell everybody.
All right.
What do you expect? Most of the panel pick, people. What do you expect?
The two-way player, Mr. Shohei Ohtani. for me, Sam. Well, hell, everybody except Kevin Bill.
Yep.
You take.
I'm taking Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners because two reasons. Have nothing to do with him other than the fact he's young. He is showing promise. He can steal bases, hit for power, hit for average. That team is on the rise. But my two reasons are, number one, Shohei Ohtani. What are the odds he stays healthy the whole year? And number two, most importantly, if I was running the Angels, and I've already heard from his agent that he wants to explore free agency.
You're going to limit his pitching attempts?
No, I'm going to trade him and get a king's fucking ransom before the end of July is what I'm going to do.
Then he's going to put up numbers for two teams.
By the way, I don't think I've mentioned this before. I have heard this.
What, the Mets want him?
All the Shohei Ohtani promotions, bobblehead night, whatever, blanket night.
They canceling him?
All in the first half of the season. All in the first half of the season.
Well, we'll
you know
see
why?
What happens.
Because the LA Angels are preparing to trade him. And if he goes to the NL, he ain't winning the MVP anywhere. He's splitting the season. That's why my man Julio Rodriguez will win the MVP. Now, I like Bill's pick. He was my pick last year.
Jordan Alvarez?
Yes, he is the big bat in that Astros lineup.
Yep.
I do like that pick a lot. With my luck,
he's
will
got
go
some
nuts
protection
this year.
now with Jose Abreu.
Yes. Now, they did lose Altuve for half a year.
For now, but
they still got Bregman.
Yeah, but Altuve's at the top of the lineup where they're deeper.
No, he's fine. He'll be fine. So I do like Bill's pick a lot. I'm just telling you, something either injury-related or trade-related we'll
see what happens.
Derail. And remember, he couldn't even win the MVP last year because of Aaron Judge. So what if somebody else catches on fire?
Yeah, but as long as it's not a Yankee, he probably has a good shot.
All right, let's get into pitching.
Let's do these. Knock these out real quick here. All right. NL Cy Young.
I have got Spencer Strider, the young pitcher, going into his second full year, as does Doug. I think he will emerge as the ace of the Braves rotation. Of course, you got three picking the reigning Cy Young champion, Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins. That would be you, Sam, and Jen.
Yep, going back to back with him. Bill, Joe Musgrove.
Terrible pick because he's the one that dropped the weight on his toe, and he will not start the season.
Yep.
He will be on the IL. I don't like that pick at all.
Nope. And then Nick going with the ageless wonder, Justin Verlander. Can't see him doing it again on this season.
Nope, I agree with you completely. And then finally, Aaron goes with a safe pick, probably the best pitcher over the last 2 or 3 years in the NL, Corbin Burnes of the Brewers.
Yep.
On the AL side, Dave's going homer.
I'm going homer. I love the way Cease has progressed the last couple years. He was in the running last year. The kid's doing nothing but getting better.
Aaron, Doug, Jen, and Bill all believing that Jacob deGrom will not break down with the Rangers.
That's a tall task.
Yep. Nick's going with Garrett Cole, the safest pick probably.
Ugh.
But again, he just doesn't do enough.
No, he just kind of plods along.
And then Sam with the dark horse pick.
Yep.
Logan Gilbert from the Mariners. Don't even ask me to break that one down. And of course, I've mentioned earlier, I'm taking Framber Valdez, now the ace of the Astros staff.
All right.
Picks for week 1, which will go the first week and a half. Dave and Sam take the Padres.
Yep. You go with the Rays. Bill, the Royals, Jen, Braves, Nick, Mets, Doug, Cubs, Aaron, Astros. There you go. Check out the Facebook feed for the full breakdown. Stay tuned. We'll be back with segment 2.
Hi, I'm Patrick, not Pat, Mahomes, Super Bowl champion and MVP. And when I'm not trying to keep my wife and brother in line, I'm listening to Sports Frenzy on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. Brittany, come on, stop posting on Twitter. Jackson, will you please get off TikTok? Man, it's times like these I really miss doing stupid, silly State Farm ads with Coach Reed.
It's segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0 here, recording March 29th, dropping Thursday, March 30th, 2023 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher!
Check out the Facebook page for our weekly NASCAR and baseball picks.
Yep, you just heard them run through in the last segment. Now, Final Four time and a breakdown of the bull crap from the Elite Eight.
You'll have to forgive Dave. I feel so bad for him.
Screw you, K-State. Screw you, Texas.
It has been a long, long time. It's been over a decade since he has won our March Madness trophy, the Frenzy Madness trophy. And he had it. He could taste it. He could feel it in the palms of his hands. All he needed was either Kansas State or Texas to win, and they both failed him. So now it will come down to the dreaded tiebreaker in the championship game between him and Doug. Now, kudos to you, number one, for having UConn.
Yep, Doug and I both.
Right, so you guys are deadlocked. You're tied. You're the only two who can gain points. You're already in front.
Yeah.
You've still got a chance to add 2 more points on with UConn all the way to the championship. But, of course, in the grand scheme of things, for our purposes,
it's down to the tiebreaker.
So,
I need a high-scoring affair.
Yep. Price is Right rules.
Yep. Closest without going over.
Dave has 159. Doug has 144.
So I need a major slobber knocker.
And unfortunately, I don't know if that's coming based on the one side of the bracket where everything went to hell in a handbasket really quickly.
God, San Diego beats Creighton 57-56.
And I'm telling you, the refs, why, I don't know. But the refs were in the bag for San Diego State. I didn't like the call on the last play. I hate seeing a game decided by a last-second foul call and it going to the free throw line. That was garbage. But I am saying go 6-7 minutes before that. You watch that game. The referees were in the bag for San Diego State. Creighton couldn't look at anybody the wrong way without having a whistle. Did not like the way that game was called at all.
No. Then K-State had fallen apart against Florida Atlantic, 79-76. Ugh.
Now that one,
Florida Atlantic, they can put up some points.
I think they deserve that win. They were the better team.
They flat out played K-State, and kudos to K-State's coach for going into the locker room and congratulating them.
Yep.
That was great sportsmanship.
Yep.
That's what you love to see.
Yep. And that's why I think most of us appreciate what we're going through right now with college basketball as opposed to the NBA. Now, the dominant team, even though they're a number 4 seed, and yes, this is the first time ever since seeding was put in to the brackets in the NCAA tournament. This is the first time ever we have never had a 1, a 2, or a 3 seed in the Final Four. Now,
That's crazy.
UConn at number 4, though, they're looking like a vastly underseeded team.
They are. They had such a schizophrenic regular season that they were all over the place. And the Big East beat the hell out of each other this year.
Yeah, and I guess I'm giving you a backhanded compliment by picking them, because now I told you, and I told everybody out there in podcast land when we broke this down originally, I do believe I said the West, I had all 4 of those first 4 seeds. If that had been the Final Four, I'd have been happy with it. Kansas, Gonzaga, UCLA, UConn, I could see that being your Final Four.
Yeah.
Yet they were all jammed into the West. Into the same area, into the same division.
The toughest by far.
And UConn took it to Gonzaga and beat them down.
They destroyed them 82-54.
Timmy! What happened to Timmy?
Oh my God, they killed Timmy!
Timmy got 4 fouls real quick.
Yeah.
And he was a non-factor after being dominant the game before in what I thought was the game of the tournament, which I called, by
Gonzaga,
the way.
UCLA.
79-76. But again, I thought that when they set this bracket up, they botched it completely. Again, they put all the tough teams in the West and in the East. Yes, I know I said Alabama was going to cruise to the Final Four.
They should have been able to. But karma bit them in the ass.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that it happened.
Yep. And then, of course, my Miami Hurricanes, who I had so much faith in.
I had more faith in them than you did.
Yeah, you had them winning 2 games. I only had them winning 1. My Hurricanes with the man, the myth, the legend, Methuselah, Jim Larinaga, gets to the Final Four. And I think, don't mean to speak for Dave, but I think the Miami-UConn game is going to be the one that decides the national champion.
Yeah, I cannot see Florida Atlantic or San Diego State competing with either Miami or UConn.
No.
Not the way those 2 teams have gelled and have run roughshod. I mean, they are just flat putting some beat downs.
Yeah, now, of course, people are criticizing Miami. Oh, they're paying their players. Well, this is the door we opened.
I think Alabama allowed a freshman superstar to play despite some legal troubles and moral dilemmas.
So if you're gonna set the rules a certain way,
if
you're gonna set the goalposts, Miami's gonna push it all the way to that limit. So I have no problem with what they're doing, who they've got on that team, how much they're paying them.
It is what it is. Everybody has an opportunity to do the same damn thing.
Now, my one problem with this whole damn thing, Saturday night, I think Miami-UConn play at 9 o'clock. It's WrestleMania Night 1! What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
As he sits here crying in his WrestleMania t-shirt.
What am I gonna do? I will probably watch the Hurricanes. Because the sad thing is, this whole weekend, I told you guys, I told Dave last week's show, what did I say? I am going to commit to college basketball this past weekend. Sweet 16, Elite 8. And I did.
You did.
After really not watching anything the first 2 rounds. So I did watch as much as possible. You know the one team I watched the least amount of?
Miami?
Because of the way it was all set up. It was all set up to screw me. Every time Miami's playing a late game. So I'm like, I don't want to spoil the early game by jumping to the late game. So I had to watch the early game all the way through.
You didn't have to.
And of course, you watch the early game all the way through, and the late game is already into the middle, if not late second half. And, of course, Miami in the one was a blowout when they destroyed Houston. And then I figured Texas had them handled.
Because Texas was up double digits.
With, 8-9 minutes to go?
Yeah, and they folded like a house of cards.
So I watched my team the least. I watched more of Florida Atlantic and San Diego State over the weekend than I did of my beloved Miami Hurricanes. I feel dirty. I feel cheap.
You should probably be thankful, because if you would have watched them, they would have probably crapped the bed.
Thank you, because I am the Kavorka. I have the ability. Anything I look at or touch falls to shit in a second. So you're probably right.
You're
probably right. So maybe I should watch WrestleMania.
There you go. Check in late.
I can't. I gotta be a loyal fan here. I can't watch wrestling instead of Miami for the first time ever in the Final Four. Come on. And that, again, Miami, UConn championship game. I'm telling you right now. I don't care. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, no chance in hell of beating
either of those two.
Oh, my God. In the basketball world, can you imagine 2 Florida teams? Florida Atlantic and the Hurricanes?
My God. That would be insane.
Nobody would watch that. Nobody. That will be the lowest rated final game ever. Although they're saying with all these upsets, they're saying the ratings are through the roof.
Well, yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's been the most exciting tournament, I think, in history.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it has been the most unpredictable. I don't know if that translates to excitement.
The unpredictability has people tuning in. That's generating a lot of excitement for these mid-majors.
Well, now here's
and the
thing.
parity is...
You and I will always say that this is the best time for basketball of the year. Pro, college, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be watching in July when the Bucks and the Nuggets are playing in the NBA, best of 7 title series.
Nobody cares.
No. But yes,
these one and dones all the way
we can all jump on the bandwagon for a Cinderella like Florida Atlantic. The people in the Northeast can sit there and start bragging, oh, look, UConn, man, we're great again. And of course, the Canes can start talking about
how they're a basketball school now.
Hey, the women made it to the Elite Eight.
There you go.
So it will be fun this weekend, although I just don't know what the ratings are going to be like.
Monday night for the championship
It's all about money, money, money. And the ratings, if you get UConn and Florida Atlantic, or you get Miami and San Diego State, that's probably going to be the closest matchup if you get that. I'll give San Diego State a puncher's chance. But I still think Miami, UConn, whoever wins that Saturday night is the champion.
Yeah. Agree completely on that.
Low-scoring game.
I don't know. UConn can play some defense. That's what scares me for the point total.
I was not trying to be mean to you. I wasn't. I was rooting for you. I had Texas going to the final game. And again, that would have helped me in the overall rankings. I know. So rooting against my team, it was kind of a win-win for me.
Yeah, sure. All right. Running right along. NASCAR.
You want to go NASCAR?
Let's do NASCAR.
More bad news for you?
Wrap things up.
All right, more bad news for you. Let's go.
Now what?
Oh, you haven't heard. Oh, boy.
This must have hit late.
This afternoon, yes.
What?
The Hendrick appeal came down this afternoon.
And they overturned it.
They kept the fines and suspensions, but they reinstated all the driver points.
Bullshit!
So
once again, this has nothing to do with the breakdown. NASCAR picks and chooses whatever the hell they want. They set the rules and, oh, well, no, we'll let you get away with it. You can't. No, you're done. But no, we'll let you do this. Absolute bullshit crap. They said no changes to any car parts. They were solid with that last season.
And of course, if you got to check out last week's show, we're talking
Last
about the
year
louvers.
they hammered freaking Joe Gibbs for the front valences and everything.
Did you really not
my
see this
God.
coming? Knowing it was Hendrick, did you really not see this coming?
I was hoping.
Because they're turning into F1 is what they're turning into.
Yeah.
They're letting Rick Hendrick run the goddamn show is what they're doing. I could have, if I'd put money down, I'm not a betting man, and if you need help with betting, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But if I was a betting man, I would have told you this was going to happen.
Absolute bullshit.
This is why when I sent out the email to the group last week and told them, you better be careful of what's going to happen because the Hendrick appeal is coming.
NASCAR has zero integrity. They never have.
And they're not the only ones.
No,
this
it's sports in
NFL.
general. It happens across the board.
There is no consistency. And that's what drives sports fans crazy.
That's what drives all these teams crazy, is you don't know what to expect.
Because now what you've done is you've taken Alex Bowman is now number 1 in points.
You've now opened Pandora's box because every team now can manipulate parts and know, oh, well, you let Hendrick get away with it.
Yep.
You just screwed yourself, NASCAR, because you're freaking pansies. You won't bring the hammer down on the top tier team.
Yeah, you just had 3 teams, 3 drivers jump up into the top 10 because of this ruling being overturned. Alex Bowman is now number 1 in points. William Byron, of course, and Kyle Larson jump into the top 10. Now, don't get too mad because it only shifted the 10th position by 5 points.
I don't give a shit about that. Okay. With the competition. That's not what I'm pissed about.
I admire you for not looking at personal reasons.
No, I hate. This is the one thing I've always hated about NASCAR is their inconsistent enforcement of their rules and picking and choosing what they do.
And I agree with you. This is ridiculous. And I can't even begin to imagine what the other teams like you alluded to are feeling. Hendrick gets to get away with it again.
Again.
And let's wait. When's the waiver coming for Chase Elliott?
Oh, you know he's getting that.
So all he's got to do is win the one race down the road, and then he gets in too. So let's make sure all 4 Hendrick cars always get in. And again, it's turning into F1. It's turning into...
Let's kiss Mercedes' ass.
Thank God for Ferrari's ass. Thank God for Trackhouse. The one team that has risen from the ashes, let's say it that way, and has, over the last year and a half, been able to say, we'll play with the big boys. We'll play with Gibbs and Hendricks.
This is what this next-gen car was supposed to do, is level the playing field across all teams regardless of how much money is there.
And it's doing the exact opposite when rulings like this come down. And I agree with you on that completely.
Oh, that's frustrating.
That's why I'm saying I could have seen this coming a mile away. And that's why I warned everybody.
Watch out.
Watch out. There's going to be a big shift in the standings once the appeal is heard.
And by God, fans better be ripping the shit out of NASCAR about this. And we better hear the commentators calling it out.
Oh,
come Sunday.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Who is going to call them out? Who?
Yeah, I know.
Smoke's not in the booth, I don't think, this week for Richmond. So
That's
he's
a
the
shame.
only
That's
guy.
a shame.
He's the only guy that might say something. Boyer won't.
It needs to be. I just wish these guys had the balls to do it.
Oh, and speaking of which, by the way, as much as I love Fox's coverage of NASCAR, and again, home run with Kurt Busch. He's great.
That was fun.
Kurt Busch is great.
And then you had, from Formula One, you had the Nandor sounding guy.
I give him a pass on that.
We're sitting there watching the race, and Mrs. C goes, his voice reminds me, the vampires, Nandor. He sounds like Nandor.
Yeah, I gave him a pass on that just because I know the guy knows what he's doing. Necessarily can't translate it for television.
Right.
But why even bring Chase Elliott in?
That was dumb.
He's awful. He is boring. Could be the best driver out there when he's healthy and not snowboarding and breaking his fucking leg.
Yeah, but he's not good commentating.
Oh, he's terrible. And for all the guys that Fox has brought in, Harvick, Blaney, Busch, Logano, all of them, they see these guys with the personalities and they bring them in. With Boyer, of course, they hit a home run. Way better than anything we're going to get in the second half with NBC.
God. With the boring sound-alikes.
But I will criticize Fox. Chase Elliott never should have brought him in. Never should have brought him in.
That was pathetic.
Now, of course, the race we're talking about is Circuit of the Americas. Pole went to William Byron. Back and forth. The race that would never end.
My God.
William Byron and Tyler Reddick
dominated the day.
Yeah, went back and forth. Tyler Reddick overcomes a botched pitch strategy. Actually pits one more time than everybody else.
Yeah. But his car was so damn fast, it didn't matter.
And they tried. They tried to take it away from him.
They tried every which
overtime
way.
Restarts.
Good Lord. That was insane.
I was so mad because, of course, that was my pick.
Yeah, but it was just frustrating. Again, NASCAR's inconsistency. There were times for debris, they threw the flag immediately. Other times, they waited and delayed it. Some spins, oh, we got to throw it. Other spins, oh, they're going to get refired. It was so all over the damn place. It was pathetic.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I know there's not really a way to fix this, but with a track like COTA, the caution laps take so long.
Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous. I mean, two caution laps take 10 goddamn minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's under speed. They're 2 minute and 15-second laps at speed. This was just so painful.
It took forever. And again, trying to watch the basketball games, and I'm like, what do I watch? Do I watch COTA? Do I watch the Hurricanes? What do I do?
Yeah.
I end up watching COTA because of Reddick. You know,
Yeah.
I got a guy I picked in the race. I got my favorite team. And I'm like, Jesus, what did I do to deserve this?
And here I thought I was screwed on the day.
Yeah, Chastain dropped back for a while.
Chastain got spun out
Yep.
late in the race.
Yep. Larson did too.
Larson did too.
But they all bounced back.
But
and,
Larson, I thought, was done the way
Right.
that car.
yeah, he got into a mess early on, got hit not once
He
but
was
twice.
down a
When
lap and
Bubba-
got a free pass.
When Bubba just shot straight through
Bubba
a
didn't
turn.
stop.
Yeah, shot straight through a turn and smashed into Larson.
Yeah, I
And
thought
then-
he was done for the
And
day.
then what Hamlin hit Larson a couple laps later when they got restarted
Yeah.
because I think Larson's trying to get into the pits and Hamlin's do-dee-do.
Thump.
Yeah, it's okay if I hit somebody, but goddamn Ross Chastain if he hits me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chastain bounces back very
Gets
nicely.
a 4th place from having been mired down in the deep 20s.
Yeah, So
he drove his ass off to get up there.
The one that looked really good, and we're glad we didn't take him because of what happened in the third segment, was Allmendinger.
Yeah.
He was running really well, and
Dinger
we're like,
was
here we go,
running
the road
really
course
well.
guy, the ringer is coming
And-
through, and then he ran into problems.
Yeah.
So good thing we didn't take the Dinger.
So
one final
it was a
note.
boring ass race though up until the end.
I don't think it was boring. I thought it was actually until the ending.
Until you got to the late
it was
third
like an
segment.
NBA race in NASCAR.
Yeah, where the first part up until near the end sucked until it got down to it.
But then it's like all the timeouts they call at the end of an NBA race that just drag it out and drag it out and drag it out.
And the last caution where they allowed everybody to bunch back up and to come in for tires and fuel, that caution never should have been thrown.
Well, it was all a mess. All a mess.
It was more exciting coming down to see who could have made it on fuel. That is what I was waiting for. That was what was exciting to me.
I agree with that. Yep.
That was the best part, is if it stayed green, guys were trying to back off and save fuel.
Your guy was supposedly the first one at that point who was good to go on fuel.
Yeah.
You selfish bastard.
Yeah, but Suarez was coming. He was good to go.
Yeah, and
too.
he ended up getting wrecked out and had
one
a
of the
terrible
overtimes.
day.
Yeah.
So
it was just NASCAR created a mess for no reason, throwing a caution that never should have been thrown.
Yeah, and they've had issues with COTA now in the past with weather.
Yeah.
They had a miserable rain situation a couple years ago where it was just a nightmare. Truex got destroyed.
Yeah.
Luckily, no harm done physically to him, but it looked ugly. It looked nasty.
But
they're just having issues with this track for some reason.
Yeah. So go figure.
Now I do have one final news tidbit before we move on to our picks for the 7th race of the Cup season. Sad news. General Motors ending production of the Chevy Camaro.
Yep. 2024 will be the final production year, but it's going to end early 2024. They say the Camaro will, in its current form, will be done, but the badge will be on something else. Are they going to do a stupid electric vehicle that looks like an SUV like Ford did with the Mustang? Probably something that damn dumb.
Yeah. So NASCAR will be able to use, because of that early 2024 date, NASCAR will be able to use the Camaro through the 2024 season.
Right.
Based on their rules. But after that, yeah, they're talking
Who
EVs,
knows?
like you said. All right, race 7, April the 2nd, 2023. 6 of our 8 experts on our panel have their picks in. For the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond. Now, of course, anytime I hear one of the car manufacturers' names, I automatically go, the fix is in! The fix is in! I'm taking that manufacturer. And I'm doing it this year.
There you go.
Bill and I are taking 6 again out of the 8 picks in. Bill and I are taking Denny Hamlin.
I almost went there with you, but at the last, I waffled all through the day today, and I decided to go with Mr. Byron.
The hot hand.
The hot hand.
He is tearing it up this year.
He is freaking on fire, and I haven't seen a hell of a lot out of Denny. Consistency.
It's the Toyota Owners 400, Dave.
It's fine.
A Toyota is going to win this race.
I will be fine.
I'm shocked so far that nobody's taken my second pick, which we'll get to in a second. Sam, the man who's blowing it. Oh, not going to quit this year. I'm not quitting this year because I'm in the lead. I'm winning. I'm a winner. Amazing what,
isn't it?
10, 11 months difference.
Yeah.
Things change. Things happen. Sam last year, I'm not winning, I'm quitting. This year he's in number one in glory, winning races with Tyler Reddick on top of the world.
I should have quit after 4 races this year.
Sam's taking Joey Logano for Richmond. Doug going with Christopher Bell. Aaron going with Kevin Harvick. I will say this. I am shocked. Nobody's taken Martin Truex yet.
I know. I'm kind
Outside
of
of
waiting
Hamlin,
to see.
he was my second pick.
I thought about Truex, but I'm just not sure yet with him.
Yeah, I know. Could be, quote unquote, his last season. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, kids. One segment left. Dumbasses. Moments of silence.
And the mop-ups.
So hang out. Dave and I are coming back for one final segment. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Kyrie Irving, NBA superstar of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean the Boston Celtics. Brooklyn Nets. Dallas Mavericks. And while I may leave a trail of wreckage wherever I go, I still like to spend my off time listening to Sports Frenzy on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. And if you don't like it, it's not my fault. It's your fault. Hell, nothing's ever my fault. Kyrie is never, ever wrong, people.
Recording March the 29th, 2023. This will hit Thursday morning, opening day of Major League Baseball, the 30th of March. This is Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Thank you, as always, for joining in to this debacle that we have loved, cherished, and nurtured for 30 years plus. We have got to do some odds and ends here right now. Clean up some bitness.
Yes.
Starting off with the NFL.
Yep. Owners' meetings going on right now. They've capped the number of short weeks for NFL teams at 2 per season.
But that is more than what it was.
Right.
So now teams can play, instead of 1 Thursday night game, they can now have 2 Thursday night games.
And thank God they tabled the dumbass idea of flexing Thursday night games. That is the most idiotic, stupid thing possible. You have fans planning so far in advance to attend a game. You cannot, within 2 weeks, that's ample time. No, not if you're trying to take your kid to a game on a Sunday. That is absolute bullshit. Roger Goodell, you're an asshole for even thinking this is a good idea.
Yeah,
it just shows you do not care about the fans, period. It's all about the bottom line.
Yeah, there's no way in hell 2 weeks' notice gives anybody ample shot
during the
get
school
off of
year.
work like you said, to get their kids. There's no way kids going to be out till 12, 1, 2 in the morning. By the time you factor in travel time back home, get them settled down, get them to bed, 4 or 5 hours sleep time at the best.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
It's bad enough when you flex other games. This is an absolute travesty.
And a lot of people are saying this is because of one person and one person only, Al Michaels. How many times during this past season on Amazon did he bitch and piss and moan
about having a bad matchup?
Yeah.
Too bad, Al. Suck it. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do your damn job. Suck it up, you pampered little bitch.
Now, of course,
sorry, I'm a little angry when the fans are taken advantage of in this way.
You're absolutely right. They're 100% being taken advantage of. And I feel the same way even when they flex games, which they're talking about doing now from Sunday to Monday.
That's bullshit too.
There's a difference between flexing a game from a 4:15 kickoff to an 8:20 kickoff.
That's
on a
bad
Sunday
enough.
night.
That's bad enough. But at least it's the same day.
Right.
You can't switch days on people.
But of course, they're more concerned about letting players wear numbers. Because now, of course, players can wear 0. And they're all going crazy.
Why?
Calvin Ridley, Micah Parsons all want to wear 0 now.
So does Darnell Mooney.
All I remember is my man back in the day when I watched the Houston Oilers, 00 Ken Burrow. Loved him. Loved him. But I don't get this whole fascination with numbers. You put a check for $20 million in front of me, I'll wear whatever fucking number you want me to wear.
Exactly.
Now I have to wear the number I wore in college in Pee Wee football when I was 12 years old.
I don't care. Give me my money. I'll wear whatever goddamn 69. Put 69 on me. I'll do it. Give me 20 million. I'll do it. I don't get the fascination with the goddamn numbers.
Obviously, you're not into your horoscope and all of that mumbo jumbo.
But I guess they had to address the whole nickname thing. Because remember, back in the old days, not the current XFL, who nobody's watching that, by the way.
Yeah.
But
He hate me?
Yeah, we had to address no nicknames. We're still not allowing nicknames. Yeah, he hate me. The he hate me rule is still in effect. Jesus God! Who is going to put some semblance of sanity back into sports?
It's sure as hell not going to be Roger Goodell, obviously.
And like we said last week, he's going to get a 5-year extension. And then finally, I think this is going under the radar, and this is a big deal because this is going to screw the players and the teams both. But they all voted on it. The owners voted on it. You're going to have one massive cut down day now. Remember, during the preseason, it was a gradual thing where you would cut week by week. Now you're going to go after the final preseason game, you're going to go from 90 down to 53.
That's ridiculous.
That's going to be mass chaos.
That's stupid.
Because they're going to be players you want off another team.
And you're not going to have
have
time
barely
to do it.
a week and a half to adjust, to pick them up.
And shove your guys away. That's absolute bullshit.
I understand the fact that you are giving the head coaches more time to evaluate players. That's the one positive here. But at the same time, with this mass chaos you're going to cause by cutting everybody
at once
at the end of the preseason.
So bad.
But again, what do I know? Dave and I, we're just the most brilliant, intelligent sports podcasters in the world.
Yeah, but we're poor. We don't have $6 billion to pony up to try and buy the Commanders.
I wouldn't want the Commanders, to be honest with you.
Hell no. Two fully funded bids. One by Canadian billionaire Steve Apostopoulos, and the other by the Josh Harris, Mitch Relig group?
Is that the one with Magic?
With Magic, yeah.
Okay, that's the one that's got Magic Johnson in it.
Both are fully funded.
Price. They were talking about baseball.
Absolutely
baseball
insanity.
Franchise values are going up.
Yeah.
I mean, all these sports franchise values are going up and up.
And what's that going to do? Screw the fans over because we're going to have to pay more per ticket.
Or more for the streaming rights
on
ESPN or FS1 or CBS Sports Network, wherever
God,
you hope to be able to watch your sports in the
crap.
future.
So out of control.
Speaking of greed, in the NFL before we move on. Lamar Jackson can't stay off of Twitter. He is his own worst enemy because he does not have an agent. He is just damaging his value each and every day. Number one, again, without an agent to negotiate for him, you're seeing what's going on around the league. And collusion. It's collusion. No, it's not.
It's not collusion. He is putting stupid stuff out there, showing what an immature individual he is, and that he is putting himself first, and nobody wants to touch him.
And again,
there's nothing colluding about it.
You can say what you want about how last season ended. We heard Michael Vick, of all people, come out and say, I had the same injury he's got. I went out and played. A lot of people saying Lamar Jackson quit on this team for selfish reasons because he didn't want to make anything happen, any further injury happen to his knee, because he had not gotten a new deal from the Ravens. Now, the Ravens, to me, are saying all the right things. John Harbaugh comes out and says, he's our quarterback. We're looking forward to working with him.
Yep.
And I know half of that is bullshit.
Yeah, but he's saying the right thing, saying when this gets worked out, no matter how long it takes, he knows the system, he can come right in and we'll be fine.
The Deshaun Watson contract screwed everybody.
Kirk Cousins didn't help.
Because he was the first one that got a fully guaranteed contract. But his was what, 3 years, $90 million?
Yeah,
and then he rolled that over and did it again?
Yeah, it was reasonable. The Deshaun Watson thing, the longevity and the amount was ridiculous.
Right. So Lamar Jackson thinks he deserves that. He's turned down, I believe, 130, 140 guaranteed on a deal total of over $200 million.
Yeah.
And so, no, I want more than that.
No!
He's going to be playing on a 1-year deal for the Ravens somewhere. I mean,
at some point.
Because the Colts, I'm hearing, could be in on this.
But they're not going to give him that much.
2 first-round picks you're going to have to give up.
No.
So I just don't know where this is going to go. Who's going to give up 2 first-round picks and give Lamar Jackson 180, 190, $200 million guaranteed?
No. Sorry. You haven't done anything to earn it. Which is what pisses me off about Watson. He hasn't done anything to deserve it.
No. That, again, one stupid owner. We can look at baseball.
There's always one stupid owner.
The idiot owner back in the day for the Texas Rangers who gave A-Rod. And we said that way back then.
Yep.
We said,
this is it.
We can't go back. We can't go back from this. He just destroyed the economic structure of Major League Baseball. And guess what?
He did.
We were right. He did. Speaking of sports.
And betting. Now, the NFL is allowing stadium sports books to remain open during the games. There you go.
You and I don't bet.
Nope.
So
they're getting a lot of kickbacks from the sports books.
Yeah, I will admit freely, I'm not that type of person. There's an allure there, I'll admit it. I play fantasy sports for free. But my money means too much to me. I look at that as sacred ground. I look at that as my responsibility as a mature adult to not use that money for anything other than bills or tangible fun.
Yeah. No, just walking through a casino a couple weeks ago. See people putting in money after money into the slots, throwing more and more down for more chips. How? Why?
I don't get it. I just don't get it. And there's people.
It hurt losing $60 over the course of 3 days.
But there were people.
$60 over the course of 3 days hurt.
I know, but there were people.
And these people are shoving hundreds of dollars at a time.
But there are people who would think the fact that we spend $400 or $500 a year on concerts, we're crazy. We're stupid. But to me, that's hell of a lot better than wasting $100 on a casino slot machine or at a roulette table. Because at least I'm getting an experience that I can discuss or I can remember. Am I going to remember losing $200 at a poker table?
Yeah. And then all you hear are I won $5,000 last weekend.
How much you lose
how
the
much
weekend
did you
before?
lose before you got it? Did it cost you $10,000 to get that $5 back? What's your net loss?
Exactly. And if you have a gambling problem,
Call
call 1-800-GAMBLER.
1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, moving on to the NBA. I find this shocking. As much as I love him, rumors are out there that Charles Barkley is in final negotiations to do a weekly show at CNN with Gayle King.
What?
How the hell is Chuck going to be able to restrain himself enough
to be on CNN?
On a liberal network like that? With Oprah's best friend.
Oh my God. That has disaster written all over it.
Supposedly it's a desperate move by CNN to get ratings because they are just failing miserably right now. I feel, now, Chuck is a brilliant businessman, so I'm sure they're putting a check in his face saying, you fill in the numbers.
Yeah, we'll see. Crazy, crazy times.
Of course, we've got teams that are out of it now. In the NBA, we'll get to the NHL in a second. Sorry, Dave.
Hey, that's all right. Life goes on.
So we've got the Trailblazers up in Portland shutting down Damian Lillard for the year, even though they are in the playoff hunt after the debacle, the 3-4 years of misery they've gone through. The Brooklyn Nets are shutting down Ben Simmons. Oh, there's a shocker.
Are we really surprised?
I'm seeing people already out there saying worst
street closed the third.
Worst contract in any sport ever. In any sport ever. God. Worse than Jamarcus Russell. Worst contract ever. The guy doesn't want to play.
Ben Simmons, that's what I was going to say. Ben Simmons does not want to play basketball. It's obvious.
A basketball player who's scared to shoot the ball.
Ugh. He cashed his check and sat.
And again, what's that guaranteed contract issue?
Yep.
Which is why, again, going back to Lamar Jackson, teams do not want to give fully guaranteed contracts.
That's why the NFL is still supreme. They do not give, outside of Watson and Cousins, they do not fully guarantee contracts.
Because of issues like this.
Yes. That's the problem with the NBA. That's the problem with baseball. Ugh.
And of course, my Orlando Magic, I give them credit. They have had a phenomenal year given what was expected of them. I'm very proud of how they're playing. Paolo Banchero looks like an awesome pick at number 1 this past draft. Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards, though, got into it with a fan in Orlando here this past week. Because talking about betting, we're talking about betting here a couple minutes ago. Fan yells at Bradley Beal because the Magic beat the Wizards.
Yeah.
I guess this guy had money on the Wizards. As Beal's walking off the court, this fan yells, "You cost me $1,300!" So Beal jumps up there, slaps his friend. Not even the guy who yelled it, slaps his friend. So now he is under investigation down in Orlando for assault.
Dude, that is not a reason to go ape shit.
Oh, we'll get into more of this later. I've got another story about a player-fan interaction in the NBA. And it's one of our favorite buddies.
Of course it is.
But
we'll save that.
Yes.
That's foreshadowing, kids.
I love it when Dave uses big words. All right, and I got a follow-up from months ago before we get into our Clint Eastwood badasses of the week. We had that little run where we were talking about, the anal beads and chest, the
vibrating anal beads,
But we also were talking about the fishermen who cheated.
Right.
With the lead weights and with the walleye fillets shoved down.
Yeah.
Yeah. They pled guilty this week to cheating in Ohio. Now, might not sound like, I cheated. Well, did in the court of law. And in Ohio, it's a big deal, especially when it comes to this competition. So we will see. We will follow up on this on May the 11th when sentencing comes down. This is indeed
one fishy
tale.
I was going to say a fish story we need to follow up on.
There you go. Dave and I always on the same wavelength. And again, kids, keep in mind we do this off the cuff. Now you got to talk about the Blackhawks.
Yes, NHL news. Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews is back on the ice at practice. There's 9 games left in the season. Johnny, hang it up. Don't even try and play. You've come out and said that with your long COVID issues and the immune deficiencies you've got, that you said you're doing more damage than good right now. Your long-term health is more important than these final 9 games of your career with the Hawks. You have given so much to them. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you. Thank you for leading the franchise back to glory. Being a stalwart, being one of the top centermen that there had been. But I want you to be healthy. Don't play another game. It's not worth it. Please.
Very well said. Very well
said. Of course, they're still second from the bottom, so there's no reason to try. They've got nothing to play for.
Yep. So 6-game losing streak. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, it is what it is. I told you, I wrote them off as the season began, that I knew they were going to be crap. So, and then they shut down Kurashev for the final 9 games because of a shoulder injury. They're just a train wreck right now. So. All
right, kids, moving on. We don't have moments of silence this week, which is always a good thing.
Yep. There are some dumbasses out there.
But I have 2 badasses this week. I have 2 sports Clint Eastwood badasses of the week, both in college basketball.
Nice.
Of course, first and foremost, tooting my team's horn, Jordan Miller from the awesome Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team, as they advance to the Final Four against the Texas Longhorns, who Dave loves.
There you go.
Jordan Miller went 7 for 7 from the field, 13 for 13 from the free throw line. The only other player since 1960 to be 20 for 20 or better from the field and the free throw line combined, Christian Laettner. Screw you, Dave!
Screw Christian Laettner.
Jordan Miller is a badass.
There you go. I just don't like Christian Laettner.
He is we'll get into this another time, but there are a lot of players out there, legendary college, never translated to the pros. Now, on the women's side, kudos to Iowa's Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, the first player ever, male or female, in tournament history, men's or women's, to post a 40-point triple-double.
Damn! Congratulations on that one.
And I'll tell you what, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for anybody against South Carolina because I hate that racist coach, Dawn Staley. Anybody who brings her down, humbles her ass, I'm all for. Hopefully, if it's not Iowa,
somebody.
I know Vatek is out there still
Anybody,
alive.
please.
I hate Dawn Staley. And now they've got her in those stupid-ass Affleck commercials with Mike Krzyzewski.
Ugh. Two of the most vile individuals in basketball.
Now, that leads us into, I believe, some dumbasses of the week, Dave.
Yes, there are a few. Shall we start with DJ Hernandez, brother of the late NFL player Aaron Hernandez,
who was, of course, a paragon of virtue.
Killer. But DJ decided to throw a brick in a bag at ESPN headquarters with a note saying, "You need to take your reporting responsibly because there are families who are suffering consequences to your actions." Dealing with the anniversary of his brother hanging himself in prison.
And his brother was one of the most detestable scumbags of all time.
Exactly.
When it came to somebody who had the golden goose laid at his feet and decided to step on it and strangle it instead of actually being an upright, decent person.
Yeah, well, when he was in college, he got away with murder. But then it came back as
who
a
was
pro.
his coach back then, by the way? Wouldn't that have been one Urban Meyer?
I believe so.
Who was, again,
a scumbag.
Selfish, self-centered, egocentric.
Go figure.
Nice dumbass. Following up on what I mentioned earlier with Bradley Beal, our buddy Kyrie Irving. Of course, he has helped bring the Dallas Mavericks down ever since they traded for him. But who didn't see that coming? Not Dave and I. We didn't see that coming.
No, I think we said they just screwed themselves out of the playoffs by adding him.
Yeah, Luka Doncic has now got an attitude. He's got a problem with the refs. He's on the verge of getting tossed here at the end of the season because, the 16 technical foul limit?
Yeah.
But Kyrie Irving, of course, his problem is everybody else because we're all wrong. The fans are wrong. So somebody said something to him at a game here this past week. And, of course, he has to, like LeBron, his buddy, LeBron James, points it out and goes, "Oh, throw that guy out. He said something bad about me." And then, of course, in the post-game press conference, badass Kyrie Irving. Don't mistake that for a Clint Eastwood badass. I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
He says, "I heard this guy. I heard what he said. I pointed him out, and he got ejected. I handled it." You pussy! If you really handle it, you'd go out and toss his ass out yourself. Don't act like you're a big shot man because you told security guard, "Oh, that guy said something bad about me. Throw him out." I handled it. You didn't handle shit. The only thing you handle is your dick at night thinking about LeBron James in the bathroom when you've got a handful of Kleenex, you douche. I am tired of you. I can't wait to get you on the plane of doom and have it go down in the Indian Ocean.
How all of a sudden Are these players so damn thin-skinned that they can't take a little criticism? If you were a man and handled it, you would have ignored it and played on.
How'd they get all the power to be able to eject the fan?
That is ridiculous.
Speaking of ejections, baseball umpire Randy Rosenberg.
This guy's a fucking pud.
Because JT Realmuto, catcher for the Phillies, they had a miscommunication. He thought he was going to get handed the ball to throw back to the pitcher. Then after waiting a couple minutes,
waited a legitimate amount of time, said, all right, the ump's going to throw the ball back to the pitcher like he did the last time. And so he moved the glove. And the ump dropped the ball onto the ground. And the ump tossed him for showing him up on a questionable pitch.
Can't wait for robot umpires. Can't wait for robot umpires.
Oh my God, that was so dumb.
Randy Rosenberg, you're a little bitch and you're a dumbass. Finally. And this really disgusts me.
The only thing that would have made that better is if it would have been Angel Hernandez.
Lawsuit pending. Jamira Shoots, Memphis women's basketball team, disgusting. Charged with assault, punched Bowling Green State's Alyssa Brett in the handshake line after their WNIT game, the Women's National Invitational Tournament game, where Bowling Green won 73-60, pled not guilty today. It's on tape! It's on tape! You punched her! You racist!
Absolute stupidity.
We're out of time. He's Dave. I'm Kev. We'll check you out next week. Later, kids.